Hello guys, it's Memorizer92. If you haven't seen my Valtan Stage 1 video, please watch that one in advance. Before you go into the raid, there are some battle items to be prepared. Either one of 8 players has to hold Corrosive Bomb, and other 7 players need to hold Destruction Bomb. This is because there's a destruction gimmick which you will face right away at the start. And one player using the corrosive bomb will increase all of the 8 players' destruction by 1. You will also need a time stop potion for all of the 8 players because in stage 2, as the fight goes on, you get a chance to fall from the ground, which is a guaranteed kill. The best option is to avoid Valtan's knockout attacks to prevent from falling, but most of you guys will not be familiar with his patterns, so I recommend using time stop potion whenever you feel that you will fall off by the upcoming attack. Of course, you have to use time stop potion before the attack hits you. You can't use time stop when you're in the air. When you enter the raid, you will face the boss with 160 health bar and 2 stacks of armor buff on. All of you guys should stick to one side where there's no barricade. The boss stomps for 3 times, then headbutts. And you want the boss to hit the wall to stun him. If it hits the barricade or if it hits nothing, it will not stun. This is very important because if you succeed the stun, you are then available to destroy its armor. The one who has the corrosive bomb throws it on the boss before it headbutts. And when the boss gets stunned, then other 7 players throw the destruction bomb, and all 8 players must use destruction skills right away to break its armor. You have to go through this gimmick for twice to remove 2 stacks of armor. Failing the destruction will reduce the damage of your party until the end of the raid, so you must succeed all the 2 destructions. If you fail the destruction in the first headbutt, it's okay because the boss does the second headbutt right away. And even if you succeed the destruction in the first headbutt, you can't destroy the second armor right away in the second headbutt since the bombs of every player will be on cooldown. So for the best, you want to destroy the second armor in the third headbutt, like this one. Whenever the boss hits the wall, 2 orbs fall to the ground. If a player grabs this orb, it will increase the sidereal gauge and also it will give immunity from global wipe skill that comes out under the health bar of 130. So idealistically, you want Valtan to headbutt walls that has orbs for 4 times for all the 8 players. But that will take a long time and it's unstable because the boss might sometimes hit the wall that doesn't has orbs. So the best way to resolve this wipe gimmick is using Valthor when the boss's HP goes under 130, because players who get the Valthor buff gets immunity from this wipe gimmick. So you want all the players come into the buff range when the raid leader uses it. This method is much more stable and even convenient. Bombarding pattern. The boss jumps and bombards missile for several times. Dodge the missiles by circling around. After dodging the missiles, the boss strikes the ground with AoE damage. So when you see the red scope on the ground, you should move to the outer side, which is the safe area. Striking 4 times. The boss strikes with its axe for 4 times. From 1 to 3 hits, it will focus on one player. So the player who has the aggro should move far from the boss rather than dodging to the side, because it will hit your team as well. The 4th hit generates some bombardment on outer side. Whirlwind pattern. The boss whirlwinds and push away players that get hit. Swing and explode. The boss swings and strikes its axe, which creates explosion in outer side. Then it swings around again, which makes another explosion outside. When it swings, dodge to outside and move back to inner side after the first strike. Jump strike. The boss jumps and strikes the front, making cross shape of seismic attack. It may also come back whirlwinding. Strike pattern. The boss strikes with the axe from 1 to twice. Cross seismic. The boss swings its axe and holds up for a second, then strikes it with cross seismic. I recommend you to position diagonal on backside. Retaliation. The boss curls itself for a moment. All the players should stop attacking and need to stick to the handle part of the axe or move far away from it. If not, it will push you away. Before the end of the pattern, if players use skill on him and meets the certain amount of stagger, it will retaliate that will do lots of damage with huge knockout on all the players. In or out, the boss roars and holds up its axe. If the axe glows, outer side is the safe spot. If not, inner side is the safe spot. Make sure to dodge the bombardment afterward. Roar. At the health bar around 120, the boss roars in the scene. You will be able to counter the headbutt attacks from now on. Red zone pattern. Around 110 HP, the boss pounds the ground and jumps to the sky in the scene. After the scene ends, 4 stones will appear on each 4 directions, and one player will get focused by red pizza area. The boss strikes the land after a few seconds, which instant kills the players in the red area, and almost instantly kills those in yellow area. Players must hide behind either of the stones to avoid the damage from yellow area. When the aim of red zone is locked, the one who got the red aggro must escape from the red zone to back of the stone in yellow area like others do. Even time stop doesn't work in red area, but it does works in yellow area. You also need to avoid the secondary attack which explodes the stones. First land destruction. At the health bar around 90, the boss jumps and destroys either side of the land and whirlwinds back to the center. Then it generates 4 stones where you have to hide against the boss from its roar attack. After that, the boss focuses one player for pizza attack. The one who got aggro should be positioned against other teammates. When it tries to fire the attack, dodge it to the other side. The stones on that side will explode afterward, which will almost instantly kill you. After one side of the stones explode, the other side will explode as well. So make sure to dodge the explosion in the safe zone. From now on, any attack that pushes or knocks you out to where the land is destroyed, it will make you fall, which is an instant kill. So be decisive on using time stop potion. Orb pattern. The boss summons orbs on 4 directions with AoE attack, then starts to rush toward one player which is able to counter. These orbs will explode after a few seconds from each side, so 4 players who are near each side have to grab each orb to prevent the explosion, and others should prepare for the counter if possible. Those who grab the orb will get a debuff of 10% additional incoming damage for a while, but if the orbs aren't grabbed, it will explode, which will do massive damage with the same debuff on all the players. Explosion of more than one orb will almost annihilate the party. Striking back and front. The boss strikes for 3 times, front, back, and front again. Grab and breathe. The boss points toward the player and rushes to that side, grabbing all the players on the way. Then it will breathe away the grabbed players all the way to the opposite side. Headbutt. The boss stomps for 3 times and headbutts, which is able to counter. Portal. The boss enters the portal, which creates lots of clones to dash everywhere. I recommend supports to use Awakening that gives shield to the party, or use the time stop. Pizza pattern. The boss whirlwinds and strikes the ground, which makes 3 pizza patterns that covers whole area in sequence. The area explodes in the shown sequence, so be in the second or third area and move to the previous area after that area explodes. If you can counter the boss as well. Trash pattern. At the HP around 65, I was hesitating on naming this pattern because in KR, Valtan literally says "you piece of trash" in the scene, so it's known as trash pattern in KR. The boss points to a direction where all of you have to counter after 3 seconds. Failing the counter will make him grab all the players it points at, which is likely to be a wipe. Bombarding 3 times. The boss jumps up and bombards for 3 times, then lands on where one player is at, which makes explosion on outer side afterward. Dodge the bombardment and come inside where boss is at after it lands. Pounding pattern. The boss puts his axe on the ground and pounds the ground with both hands, which makes AoE damage on that side and on outer side afterward. Dodge the first pound and come inside. Countering 3 times. The boss holds its axe on backside, preparing for AoE attack. When it tries to land its attack, you can counter it. This goes for 3 times. One thing that's important is that whenever a player succeeds in counter, that player gets silent, which means the same player cannot counter again. Also, small range of debuff area generates below the player who countered. Any other players who are in this area will also become silent, which is no good. First and second strike does AoE damage, and between the attacks, other AoE attacks tries to disturb players from countering. The third one wipes the party if you fail that counter. So third one must be countered, and be sure to stay away from the player who tries to counter. Incarceration. The boss incarcerates some of the players whom you have to help them free. If you fail this, massive AoE damage comes from where incarcerated players are at. Failing on more than one player will almost wipe the party. Stagger pattern. The boss charges for a strong attack with shield on. You must remove the shield by attacking it, then stagger the boss. Striking 3 times. The boss jump strikes front, back, and front. The last strike has large range. Second land destruction. At the HP around 30, the boss jumps up and destroys the land on the rest of the side, then whirlwinds back to the center. The gimmick is same as the first destruction. Stay behind the stone, dodge the pizza, and dodge the explosion from the stones. Now as you can see, the combat becomes much harder since you have to dodge all those push and knockout attacks in the very small land. Last resort. At the health bar of 15, Valtan teleports to the center and strikes all 4 directions one by one. Then it starts to pound the ground for several times, which knocks you out from the land. Also, 3 stones will be generated, so you have to dodge all those insane attacks and even hide behind the stone and avoid the explosion from the stones as well. The easiest way to resolve this gimmick is just using Valtan. This will allow your party immune to the knockout attacks, which makes you easier to dodge. You don't even have to hide behind the stone as well. You can also use time stop potion exactly on the second pounding to avoid all the attacks before the stone generates. Once you resolve this gimmick, you will finally face Phase 2, the Ghost Valtan. Ghost Valtan has 40 health bar and 6 stacks of buff that reduces incoming damage from the party, including sidereal skills. In order to remove those stacks, players need to success counter on the clones that you will see time to time. If you succeed the counter, it will remove the damage reduction stack by 1, and even restore certain amount of sidereal gauge. Failing the counter will let the clone do AoE knockout attack, which is lethal to everyone, so you must succeed the counter on these clones. At the health bar around 40, 26, and 13, Valtan tries to grab players. If you get grabbed, that's an instant kill by falling, so you should be aware of the health bar. Also, you will see some clones running on the outer side. If you get hit by that, you get knocked out, which is an instant kill. In Ghost phase, you get relatively less time to beat Valtan before it rages. So the sidereal skill you want to use in phase 2 is Thyrane for huge damage. Make sure to use it after removing all the 6 stacks for the max damage. Normally, as beginners, you need at least 6 players survived when you face phase 2 in order to finish him before it rages. Well, that's exactly all the patterns in Valtan Stage 2. Hope this video helped you guys a lot. If you liked my video, please hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you so much for watching.